Every 4 years, we are treated to a spectacle like no other, the World Cup. A couple days ago, another rendition of this famous tournament concluded in epic fashion. We got to see Messi lift the trophy as his Argentinian side took down France in a game that I'm still struggling to find words for. Instead of trying to find those words, I'm going to look forward now to 2026 and the next World Cup. Here are 4 nations to look out for in 4 years. Number 4, France. Obviously. The back-to-back finalists might have lost in a heartbreaking manner this time around, but now you've got a group of guys who can say they made it to the World Cup aged 20 to 22. Give those guys 4 years to develop even more, and Les Blues will be back-to-back-to-back finalists. Camavinga is my pick to be France's most improved player, or in other words, who will take the biggest jump here in 4 years. While Mbappe is only 24, by the way, I feel like he's already amongst the world's best, so that's why I decided to give it to Camavinga. Please excuse the pronunciations, but other names to look out for in France's 2026 squad is Tchouaméni. The next Paul Pogba will be 26 in 2026. Ilian Meslier will look to replace veteran shot stopper Hugo Lloris and become France's new number 1. He would also be age 26. Last name I'll bring up, to lock up the defense, I expect Ibrahima Konate to be another anchor France looks to in defense. France will look to avenge their loss in the final. But last time they were losers in the final, the following World Cup was kind of a disaster. Will the team fall to the same fate? Time will tell. Number 3, Spain. I picked Spain just hoping they practice more than 1,000 penalties in the next 4 years. No, but let's get for real. Let's get serious. Spain has an uber-talented generation brewing currently. Not quite at the level of their previous golden generation, but the surplus of Spanish youngsters should not be overlooked. Pedri and Gavi offer so much versatility in the midfield, and seeing as they play together, I can only imagine how much more their chemistry will improve, reaching a level where they're basically reading each other's minds on the pitch. Kinda like someone we know. The main gripe with Spain is they lack finishing. Like badly. And we all saw it. Forced into a penalty shootout against Morocco in the round of 16, Spain looked hopeless as their shots looked more like passes to the keeper than attempts at scoring. The only young promising player that is truly an offensive threat is Ansu Fati, and the jury is very much still out on him. Heck, as a Barcelona fan, even I'm asking, when are we going to see a breakout? With that being said, expect Spain at the very worst to be formidable, or, in another best case, a possible contender. Number 2, Ecuador. In my opinion, the best team to be out in the groups at the 2022 World Cup. Drawn into a group with 2 strong sides, Senegal and the Netherlands, Ecuador managed 4 points, easily beating Qatar and tying but looking strong against Holland. It all came down to a dramatic match day 3, where all Ecuador needed was just a tie and they'd be through. After a dramatic match that saw Ecuador with the scoreline needed late in the game, a 70th minute goal marked the end of Latri's time in Qatar. Fortunately for Ecuador though, this is only the beginning, as they were one of the youngest squads at the tournament. This prosperous generation is headlined by Brighton's Moises Caicedo, or as I like to call him, the definition of he's got that dog in him. I can see Moises skyrocketing in value and becoming one of South America's top exports. Another notable name is Piero Hincapié, the defender from Bayer Leverkusen, is another dog and stud who locks down that backline for Ecuador. At only 20 years old, give him 4 years and a move to another club, and he might rank amongst the best defenders in the world in 2026. Bonus nation, Norway. The video was supposed to be about 5 nations, but the play on words by using 4 was too juicy to not take. But not to fear, because rules don't apply to me, so they're 4. Oh, God. I hate myself too, don't worry. We're doing 5 teams. Now, Norway isn't a lock to make the World Cup. They just aren't a global soccer powerhouse. However, with the next World Cup more than likely expanding to more teams, one's gotta assume that Norway is sitting pretty to qualify. Meaning, we would get to see the World Cup debut of Erling Haaland. If there's one player who could capture the lightning in a bottle needed to make a shock run at a World Cup, it's Haaland. The Norwegian is liable to score from anywhere on the field at whatever time he chooses. I can see it now. Norway's holding off the opposition's attacks for 90 minutes, And all it would take is one opportunity, one chance, and Haaland's going to strike that dagger to the other team. After Haaland, there's not much to love outside of Odegaard, who's a very solid player and a great setup man. I personally want to see Haaland out of World Cup at least once in his career because I truly believe he would make a crazy run. Number 1, USA. Red, white, and blue, motherfucker! Alright, I'm sorry, but yeah, we all knew this would be number 1. I mean, who else? I go in depth as to what exactly I believe the US Cementee has to focus on in the upcoming cycle in a previous video, which I will link in the description. But for this video, I wanted to focus on what the potential squad could look like in 2026. Obviously, you're going to have guys like Christian Pulisic, Weston McKennie, Tyler Adams, Yunus Musa, Timothy Weah, Serginho Dest, Jedi Robinson, and hopefully Giovanni Reyna. But there's some guys fans should get to know before 2026. You've got Pepe up first, the young striker who had the option between Mexico and the US. The then 18-year-old chose the US and actually played a notable role in their qualification campaign. Then he was controversially left off the 26-man squad. But Aaron Long was on the squad. Then you've got Jordan Pefok, another striker who looks more like he's on the outside looking in. However, the 26-year-old has been one of the most consistent American goal scorers in Europe. If he continues his form at Union Berlin and becomes a mainstay in European soccer, it would seem blasphemous to snub him once more. Malik Tillman is an exciting prospect who can serve as an amazing midfield sub for MMA. Joe Scally is another I expect to see progression in as he continues to flourish in the Bundesliga. The last player I'll throw out there might throw some for a loop, but this guy just screams superstar in the making. And he's not even in the conversation when talking about our youth talent. That player is Taylor Booth. Okay, before you click off or write an angry comment talking about how I have no idea what I'm talking about and I should quit this whole YouTube thing and find a job at my local McDonald's and forever fuck off, I ask you for 2 things. 1, a hot and spicy McChicken. And 2, just go watch some of Booth's highlights. When I watch them, I see the potential for a game-changing player. I see a kid with raw tools and potential, and I believe he is in the exact right position in his career. He's at a decent club in the Dutch League, getting decent playing time. The Dutch League is a talent factory, and I think Booth will be the next great export. Well, that was the list. Did you agree? Disagree? Will you love me forever now and sing my praises? Or do you hate my guts and wish I was exiled to Hoth and never heard from or seen from again? Let me know in the comments and have a wonderful day.